Hi, it's Mike again, and it's hard for me to believe that that retreat was back more than 3 weeks ago. Time flies so quickly. How are you doing on the goal for Christmas? How are you doing on the listings you're going to take? How are you doing on chanting and writing out, I am a great listing agent? Because as we've done the last 2 weeks, and again this week, we're presenting Neil Weichel, his checklist, his blueprint in week number 3 on how to be the best of the best. I really liked what Neil did. Now, if you remember, he talked about first phase 1. And phase 1 was from 1992 to 1997. Now, to give you a little background, Neil was involved in selling in the corporate world, not in real estate. He had built a successful career, made the decision to move into real estate. So his phase 1, learning and growing a part of my business. I spent all my time learning and growing. I spent all my time trying to meet as many people as possible to acquire the skills and product knowledge I needed. I started a local network of top agents. We met weekly to share ideas on how to list and sell real estate. My schedule was to get up early, call expired, show property, go on presentations, knock on doors. I would play MFO tapes in the morning, in the afternoon, on the way to work, on the way home, every day, all day long. And after a couple of years of this, I joined coaching to increase my efficiency and set a goal to do 100 transactions a year. So between 1992 and 1997, Neil didn't have a concise, concrete plan like he's had the last 5 or 6 years. But you see, his phase 1 was learning and growing, developing the attitude, because if you get to know Neil, you can see that great attitude. That attitude of, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to succeed. And he set a goal, by the way, for 1997, 5 years in the business, to do 100 transactions. You heard about the money he makes, because he's made a tremendous amount of money. And being very smart with his money, he could afford to take the time to keep learning and growing. But then he talked about phase 2, which was an interesting time for Neil, because of course, this was that period when the market was going like this nationwide. Phase 2, 1997 to 2006, just before the big crash. He said, I had reached most of the goals that I've set at the first few retreats and then focused on the following. Now listen carefully. This is where his blueprint becomes critical to you. Understanding the accumulation effect. All right, the accumulation effect. Understanding that if I keep doing something every day, I'm going to accumulate a big portion of that into my life. Well, watch the negative side. I eat hot fudge sundaes every day. I'm going to accumulate a lot of body fat over 6 months. I do a lot of exercise every day, accumulate a lot of muscle over 6 months. I chant out loud, I'm a great listing agent, 15, 20 times a day. I start programming my subconscious mind, I'm a great listing agent. The accumulation effect, I prospect every day, 10, 15, 20, 30 contacts. I accumulate the skill, the ability to deal with those responses. So the first part of his real, true checklist blueprint, understanding the accumulation effect. B, setting minimum standards for productivity, and in this case, his minimum standard was 100 transactions a year. He posted in front of himself, he kept virtually his eye on the goal between 1997 and 2006, 100 transactions a year. C, he started more and more networking with agents, and he really started to focus on the numbers. How many hours did I prospect? How many actual contacts did I make? How many leads did I generate? How many presentations am I going on? What percentage are signing a contract? So a big part of his blueprint was understanding the numbers, but also networking with agents to keep learning and growing. And then D, he said he started a quarterly newsletter. And this was interesting. If you were paying attention, a quarterly newsletter he wrote personally to reach the people that he generally could not reach otherwise. As he knocked on doors and called in expireds and past clients, if he couldn't reach them, he would send him this quarterly newspaper, personalized from him. He wrote it himself. And then E, as prices increased, he studied the market virtually all the time to see where the greatest activity was. Such an important part of his blueprint. Like Fahada said 2 weeks ago, studying the market. He always knew if this market was selling faster than this market, then I'm going to spend more time over here. A lot of listings being taken here, but they're not selling, then I'm going to stay away from that market. But then he talked about phase 3. 2007, the great crash in real estate, to the present. My lowest number of transactions since 1999 happened in 2007. as our market went to 80% distressed properties through the end of 2008, first, he got into the REO space because he wanted to participate in 80% of the listings. Second, he never stopped communicating with past client centers of influence. Even when they were depressed and they were upset, he kept that cheerful attitude. You saw it on stage. That wonderful, wonderful enthusiasm, and he kept talking to the most important people. And then he says, see, the last couple of years, okay, 2010, 2011, 2012, etc., back on track to make over $2 million a year, and with REO being the tiniest percentage, because I spent all my time trying to list property. Guys and gals, if you look at the 3 phases he went through, it's probably not unlike what you're going through. Maybe you're in phase 1, the learning and growing stage right now. Maybe you're in phase 2, you're maximizing your productivity and doing well. Maybe you're in phase 3, it's all paying off, and it's going to pay off bigger and better because you're going to stay in touch with your past client centers of influence. In either case, listen to what Neil says. It's great advice, and I'll talk to you next week.